Meantime, just ahead of the confession, thirsty business, this drive time show, and we need just a little bit of refreshment. What have you got as a pick-me-up today,
Well,
Suze?
I thought what would be nice is something I didn't realise still existed anymore, but we had it delivered the other day in the pub, a brown beer Bass.
Bass beer,
From the 1960s?
Yeah.
Okay, does that count as like a sharpener, maybe, for tonight?
Yeah. 4.4%.
Okay.
So,
Is it quite heavy?
no, I don't think so.
All right, okay. So we'll have a bit of Bass.
Yeah, why
There you
not?
go.
Oh, there you go.
All those wartime memories come flooding back. Well, today's confession comes from Pamela. Thanks, Pam. Dear Simon and Co., just over 40 years ago, I married my lovely husband, Les. We now feel that the time is right to ask for forgiveness for something that happened on our honeymoon. At the time, I was working for a lovely man called Derek, who owned a couple of apartments in Marbella, and he very kindly offered us one for our honeymoon. It was an incredible gift. And to keep the cost down even further, we decided to drive down to southern Spain. Soon after our lovely wedding day, we caught the ferry to France and set off on our honeymoon adventure. We planned a couple of overnight stops at campsites from a book. No mobile phones, obviously no internet, no sat-nav. We just looked at the book and we ordered them that way.
Yeah.
We shared the driving and got as far as Bordeaux the first night. We found the campsite just off the auto route, and as it was out of season, the owners told us that there was only one toilet block open and told us to camp anywhere. We were the only guests. The site was basic, but in a lovely pine forest. Many listeners will recall what a basic French toilet was like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
We pitched our tent not too far from the open facilities, and as soon as the tent was up, we went to inspect the said toilets. There was the usual toilet and shower, cold water only. It's France. I don't know why that. And next door, a large room with sinks and draining boards down two sides for our washing up. As we got ready to go to bed, the weather turned rather wet, so we huddled down in our cosy tent for a good night's sleep before another day of driving. Unfortunately, the weather deteriorated with torrential rain, thunder and lightning, very, very frightening, which turned into an electrical storm.
Oh, no.
Very common, apparently, in this part of France. The trees were blowing and we were so frightened we were going to get squashed by falling trees. Bearing in mind how shallow-rooted the pine trees are. You must always remember that.
Yeah, the shallow roots of the pine trees,
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
all
I
the
didn't
time.
even know that was true, but
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
that's what we're told. At about 2 a.m., we'd had enough, and my husband suggested we take our sleeping bags, drive to the toilet block, and see if we can get any sleep there. So we rushed to the car and bundled in our sleeping bags and valuables and parked as close as we could, and then ran to the washing up block. As it was a concrete floor, we decided it would be a good idea to get into our sleeping bags and then lie on top of the counters. This was not easy, as we both had those mummy-shaped sleeping bags that taper in down near your feet. So we had to wriggle into them and then hitch ourselves up onto the counter with our arms still firmly wedged inside the sleeping bag. Anyway, we finally got as comfortable as we could when the...
Yeah. Go on.
and then the power went off.
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
Well, it was France. It was pitch. Yes.
That's all right then.
It's the old days. Of
Oh,
France.
was it 40 years
Fourth
ago?
Republic or something. It was pitch black and we were a bit freaked out. We fell asleep eventually, but I was suddenly awoken by a blood-curdling scream. My husband was shouting, "I've fallen down a hole!" The worktop underneath him had collapsed. "I think I'm in a well." Actually, he was head first in the inside of a hidden cupboard under the draining board, still with his arms pinned inside his sleeping bag. I had to get out of my sleeping bag, find him in the dark, no power, it's France, and try to pull him up and out of the cupboard. Not easy in the pitch black with him screaming and me laughing so much that it hurt. I managed to rescue him. He said he could have been headfirst in a well, as far as anyone knew, and French wells were notorious.
No, what? Notorious.
You know, for being wellish. You don't want to fall down. I wouldn't mind falling. If I'm going to fall down a well, I want to fall down a British well.
Yes,
I don't want a
of
French
course.
one. Anyway, I knew it was just a cupboard. So we got ourselves together and the security lights came back on and we could actually see the carnage that was once the kitchen counter. Horrified but still scared of the store, we decided to drive back to the tent and try and sleep in the car. Needless to say, we didn't get much sleep, and as soon as it was first light, we packed up our tent and gear and quickly left. We did feel terrible the next day about not staying and explaining what had happened to the owners, but A, we couldn't afford to pay for the damage that we caused, and B, our school French wasn't really up to the task. So we hoped they'd just put it down to rotting wood and nothing. That's right. Nothing to do with us. So we seek forgiveness from the campsite owners, if they're still alive, for ruining their kitchen top and leaving them without telling them. But in our defence, we were young, in love, and we didn't have a lot of money to pay for repairs. Also, the kitchen counter must have been rotten and in danger of collapsing, so we probably did them a favour, highlighting a problem. It could have been a whole lot worse. Imagine if a whole family had disappeared into the cupboard.
Yeah, why would the family be on the draining board?
We had a lovely honeymoon and have enjoyed 40 plus happy years together. My husband has often retold this story, making much of him nearly dying on our honeymoon after falling head first down a mine shaft, which wasn't really quite the story as far as I recall.
Very good.
Anyway, what a story from a honeymoon as well. Sister Suze, what do you say to Pamela?
Well, Pamela, just the image of both of you basically looking like caterpillars on top of a cupboard is very, very funny. But it is, who sleeps on a cupboard? What if you turned over and fallen off completely?
I know, it sounds like a ludicrous idea, doesn't it?
Danger.
Definitely.
High voltage, I would say here. I just don't think it was very safe, and you proved it. And also just not admitting to it as well. That's just not good. And I don't know what a family would be doing on top of a kitchen cupboard to save them from the danger. So I don't buy that at all. So no, Pamela, I'm not going to forgive you.
Brother Matthew,
just slept in the car.
what do you say to Pamela?
Yes, I'm definitely going to forgive, because that's the funniest we've had for a while. Very, very good. I've been on campsites where it's really started raining, and my thought has never been, quick kids, let's go to the toilets and hope that they've got a draining board that we can sleep on and maybe fall into the sink. Just get, as you say, just get straight into the car. Get straight into the car. You were in the car. It was there, and then you decided to get out the car and sleep on a draining board. So, yes, I'm going to forgive, but very, very funny. Well done.
Pamela, thank you very much for your confession. So the people's verdict, I think, 61054. Do you forgive Pamela for her honeymoon sleeping bag carnage situation? It wasn't a well, it was a cupboard. Just before the news at 6 o'clock, we heard from Pam, who just got married to Derek, and they went off. The first part of their honeymoon was in France, and it was slightly disrupted by their camping routine, an electrical storm, and then the fact they decided to get into their sleeping bags and lie on top of the counters in the toilet.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason. And then he fell down a well, although it was actually just a cupboard.
Yeah.
So let's check out the people's verdict. What do we get?
Forgiven, says Pete in Oxford, partly because I've done worse camping in France, and partly because the mental image of the cupboard dive has made my day. Eddie in Edinburgh, forgiven, not quite carry on camping, which I hoped was the direction of travel, but a reference to Bohemian Rhapsody always gets my approval. And Simon the mechanic in Leicester says, forgiven, that was as funny as the original confession involving a well and maybe a goat.
Yes.
Also forgiven, as they couldn't have afforded to repair the worktops anyway.
No, that's probably true. Thank you very much indeed for the verdicts, and thank you for the confessions. You can send yours, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. Confession in just a second. Accents required appear to be Australian and Scottish. I'm not sure you're going to get either dealt with properly, but we might get a drink. What are we taking from the trolley today?
I thought what would be really lovely is nice and warming, a hot chocolate made with whipped cream and flakes. I've gone for a 43% myself, but you could go darker.
43%? Oh, 43% cocoa, not 43% alcohol.
Wow.
No, not alcohol.
Start
It's got
the
no
car.
alcohol in it. Although, Matt, if you wanted to, you could put some rum in it, I guess.
Why not?
Okay.
Yes.
Today's confession comes from Malcolm. That's what he wants to be called anyway. Father Simon and the Collective of Forgiveness. My story goes back to the early 1980s when two recently qualified nurses, let's call them Monica and Jocelyn, took a trip to the land down under and spent a year in and around Sydney. Now, it's worth noting, for reasons that will become clear later, that Sydney in 1982 was a less sophisticated place than the vibrant international city that now presents itself to the world. The local level of TV advertising, for example, was along the Brentford nylon style.
Oh, wow.
Ask
Brilliant.
your grandparents. With a number of local businessmen becoming quite well known from appearances in their own productions. Now, it's at times like this, Simon, that I often pause to reflect on how few of your confessions start with, "I had just enjoyed a delicious salad." And true to the medium, so it came to pass that our two heroines went out for an evening and began in the early 80s style with many cocktails, enjoying the inevitable point later in the evening where hunger got the better of thirst and a delicious Chinese meal seemed to be the order of the day. While sitting at their table for two, the young nurses attracted the attention of a group of gentlemen on an evening out of their own, and eventually it transpired that they were the owners and management of a well-known local furniture emporium that might still exist, so we'll change its name. An emporium that was well known for its local budget TV advertising campaigns. As luck would have it, one of the owners was Scottish, and he instigated the conversation, at which point our girls spotted him from his many starring roles in such classics ads. And here's it, time for the accent, Simon.
Oh, yes.
No,
Here we
it's
go.
not.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's Summer Madness at Daly and McDode. And good day, it's McDode from Daly and McDode. You'll have to get up early to catch a better bargain than a new waterbed from Daly and McDode. I hope you enjoyed the accent there.
Yeah.
This last one was for some reason delivered on a bicycle as he cycled along the Parramatta Road in a kilt. So two more chairs were duly moved from the girls' table to the gentlemen's, and the first of several more drinks were consumed. As the evening progressed, Monica struck up a rapport with the not Scottish co-owner and was being regaled in a generic Australian accent with tales of furniture that would make a girl's head swim. Listen, mate, water beds, they're the absolute best thing. Cool
we are
in the
getting the
summer,
accent.
comfortable, relaxing. What do you mean you never tried one? Wow. It was the 80s. Well,
Yeah.
a little later that evening, broke up and most of the party went their separate ways. Monica and her newfound friend, who we'll call Bruce, decided to carry on and develop their burgeoning relationship. He invited her back to their showroom, because he was a classy
Class,
chap,
yeah.
to demonstrate the veracity of his words about the waterbed. And so it came to pass that after a short taxi ride at 1:30 in the morning, they found themselves getting along famously in the waterbed section of a relatively well-known for Sydney furniture shop. It was while they were enjoying an energetic game of Cluedo that there was a sudden shriek of sirens, a hammering on the doors, blue and red lights providing a disco pattern across the windows, and what seemed like half of New South Wales police, who remember are armed, in the car park.
Oh, boy.
Listen, mate, we're armed police. Come out with your hands up. Mate,
Yeah.
came the authoritative sounding commands. Ray Winston may have been... Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Armed police, come out with your hands up. You wait here, mate. I'll go and sort this one
Get
out,
mixed
says
up.
Bruce. And off he goes, pulling on his shirt and trousers because it's very hot at night time in
Of
Sydney.
course it is, with the Cluedo.
Shortly to return looking very sheepish and admitting that in their eagerness to investigate the rules of Cluedo, he'd neglected to set the alarm to safe, causing the infrared detectors to pick up their vigorous Cluedo moves and sent a silent alert to the local police station. Expecting the worst, they turned up in force, so interrupted the beginnings of a blossoming friendship. New South Wales finest were quickly placated. In fact, they seemed to find it all hilarious. The happy couple had to leave the shop at 6 a.m. to avoid being further disturbed by the cleaners opening up, but safe to say they resumed their Cluedo session in the interim. Father Simon, I do not seek forgiveness from Bruce, for I'm sure he enjoyed himself can't read that. And he's probably, and then Malcolm says he's probably dead now anyway.
Oh, right.
I do not seek forgiveness from the New South Wales State Police because I'm sure the same story is in someone's memoirs, or at the very least have been recounted around the police barbie every year. I do not even seek forgiveness from the people that may have bought the waterbeds because they all had the... Okay, we'll leave that. Instead, I beg forgiveness from my two children. now aged 34 and 32, who may never look at their mother in the same way again when they hear this and realise that she had a life before they came along, and all in all, it was quite an interesting life. Oh yes, and forgiveness from my wife for telling her story to the wider radio audience. We've been married for over 40 years, and she's been quite simply the best friend, wife and partner. I think you're it's going to work
Best
now,
of luck.
Malcolm.
No, not enough.
So I'm sure she'll see the funny side of this.
No.
But just in case she doesn't, for the purposes of this email, my name is Malcolm. Well, okay. I mean, I think to be honest, it was, I think, as the kids say, it's her story to tell, Malcolm. But anyway, Malcolm has stepped in and told it on her behalf. Suze, what do you say to Malcolm?
Well, I don't forgive Malcolm. It definitely is her story to tell, and I'm sure she wouldn't necessarily want her children knowing all of the ins and outs of what happened before they came along. And I can't believe he didn't even ask her before he sent it in. This is just, I can't, no, don't forgive him, Malcolm. Not at all.
It's a shocker, Malcolm. But Brother Matthew says...
I'm going to forgive. My instinct is Monica's is very happy to share the story. She strikes me as great fun, and all those things are fine. I also going to forgive because of the accents. We did get some accents in there eventually.
Yeah.
So that's all fine. It strikes me as it was so far so good. So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.
Sofa
to go.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
it's
inspired.
61054 on the text. First word is Simon. Does Malcolm get your forgiveness or not? Just before the news, a confession from Malcolm. Although he was kind of cheating because it was on behalf of his wife, and a torrid story of a waterbed and a game of Cluedo and some rather dodgy TV ads in Sydney in the 1980s. The people's verdict runs like this.
Jan in Truro says, not forgiven. Who plays Cluedo on a waterbed? Well, I don't even care if it was the 80s. Think of the people who bought the bed. Also, the husband's 100% in the bad books there. Hannah in Welwyn Garden City says, not forgiven. I don't forgive him. What's the moral of the story? Wait 40 years and then you use your wife's anecdote for radio clout. But Philippa says... Radio clout, yes. Philippa says, definitely forgiven. My second husband and I had a waterbed back in the late 70s. He was 17 stone, I was 8 stone. When he got into bed after me, it caused a tidal wave and I flew onto the floor. After 6 months, I'd had enough and we sold it.
Oh, I see. I thought what you were going to say. I'd had enough and now I'm on husband number 3.
Yes.
Was that like a sitcom that you were describing?
It felt like that, didn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Okay. If you have a confession, we would like to hear it, please. confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. It's 5:46. This is Greatest Hits Radio. Should you have a confession, we would love to see it, please. You send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. Before we embark on the thirsty work, though, Susie's picking us something rather fine from the trolley, I trust. What do we have?
Well, I've gone for another one that could well be a dessert as well. It's a Salomon rice pudding sour, cherry vanilla almond in a beer, 6%. It's very autumnal and almost Christmassy, dare I say it. Delicious.
Yes. I'm sort of old-fashioned in as much I think rice pudding, fine.
Yeah.
Beer, fine. Separate. Okay.
It's all new things. New things happen.
The world is changing. I don't know where I am anymore. Okay, today's confession comes from Vera. Vera, thank you very much indeed for this tale. Father Simon, Brother Matthew, and the Sisters of Mercy, I take you back to the 1950s in the Yorkshire Dales. My school was a catch-all for boys and girls, mainly from farming communities. Mr. Butler, the man in charge of education at the time, had recently declared that children should stay on at school until 15 years of age instead of leaving at 14. This is the first mention of Rab Butler on the confession spot for a long time.
Yeah.
The majority of boys in my class didn't take this very well because they wanted to be working on the farm with their fathers and brothers, different times. They were quietly mutinous. Quietly, as corporal punishment was still allowed and the cane was always close at hand. Into this febrile situation pops up Miss Goodling, spinster of this parish and tasked with teaching us biology and religious education. An interesting combination.
Yeah, wow.
There had been a recent change in the curriculum for biology, and added to the life cycle of the frog and plant etiology, which is the causes and origins of plants, because I had to look that up.
Of course, yeah.
There was a need to explain the reproductive system of plants, animals, plants, animals, and humans. She excelled at the plants section, and we spent many a lesson colouring in different flowers and trees. When the time came for the human reproductive system, her courage failed her. Seeing the goggle eyes of 20-some teenage lads, suppressing laughter and some leers, she balked. She asked Ronald, a quiet, not too bright but talkative lad, about the life cycle of pigs.
What?
This created a lively discussion on the care and naming of pigs that all the farm lads really enjoyed because they knew stuff about that.
Pigs, yeah.
There you go.
Easily distracted. Human reproduction was forgotten, and Miss Goodling could be seen to breathe a sigh of relief. I looked around at the rest of us females and could see that we were all a bit fed up. We wanted to talk about babies, love and marriage, and even wanted to know what happened after the smouldering kiss we saw on the films. I couldn't stop myself, and I stood and raised my hand determinedly.
Oh,
no. Oh, dear.
What about humans, miss? What about humans? What happens there, I say, hating myself as soon as I saw the fear in her eyes and her face go crimson.
Oh, no.
There was a rush of suppressed mirth from the lads, and she banged down her desk lid. She said, I advise you should ask your parents about that. I don't know if she spoke like she was in the royal family, but anyway, that's the way I did it.
Yep.
And she finished the lesson early. We had an early break. She went off sick for 2 weeks. The substitute teacher was Mr. Masters, an ex-squaddy, recently demobbed from the army. He firmly believed in equal opportunities. Girls too could be the recipients of a whack on the hand with a ruler. It's the 50s.
It is. It's very much. Yeah.
We were really pleased to see Miss Goodling back when she did make it back, and we continued with lessons of colouring plants. However, she was never quite the same again. She flinched any time a hand was raised to ask a question, and she developed a tic in her left eye. Was this my fault? I fear it may have been. I think of her often. She was a delicate creature doing her best to teach children who really didn't want to be there. So I beg to ask forgiveness, as I didn't really mean to bring attention to her reluctance to talk about human reproduction, but who does want to talk about that particularly? No. She actually was asked to cast pearls before swine. Yours, Vera. Well, that's a very interesting tale because instinctively your heart goes out to the lovely Miss Goodling because she's doing her best.
She is.
With a bunch of young farmers there who probably just, either, if they're not talking about pigs, they want to talk about something else. Anyway, what do we say, Suze, to Vera?
Oh, this is tricky for me because I do, I'm kind of on Miss Goodling's side, and I feel like, yes, who wants to teach that? But she signed up for biology, didn't she? And that is in kind of the curriculum. And you know what? Vera's really brave. We should know about these things. These things should have been taught. And maybe she was a bit early in the 50s asking for all of that. But I think I am on Vera's side, and I am going to forgive her.
She wanted to know about the baby's love and marriage, and obviously that's a very wholesome thing, Matthew. Don't you?
It is. Is love and marriage on the biology curriculum? I don't think it is.
Isn't that what it's all about?
So I'm gonna say forgiven because I agree with Suze. It doesn't sound like she was well suited to being a biology teacher. Really, this comes up. It's going to come up. You can't get too embarrassed and then take 2 weeks off work because somebody asked you about it. Also, my instinct is that the young farmers knew exactly what was going on. I mean, they're dealing with the pigs who were all involved as well. So in a way, aren't we all? Yes, I don't know where that went. For all of those reasons, I'm going to forgive.
Thank heavens for Ronald, the not too bright but talkative lad
good,
who could talk about the life cycle of pigs. That's what you need. Anyway, we've all been there. It's another biology class confession. Forgiveness or not for Vera. 61054. First word is Simon. Before the news, we had a biology class confession courtesy of Vera. We're in the 1950s, and Miss Goodling, who really wasn't up to the task.
No.
She could talk about colouring in plants and the recycling of pigs, the reproduction system of pigs, but anything else was embarrassing, even though Vera did say, what about humans, miss? And she had to take 2 weeks off. So the people's verdict, here we go.
Not forgiven, says Stephen Cheltenham. You gave that poor teacher lifelong twitch. Curiosity did more than kill the cat on this occasion. But Jane in Derby says, forgiven. In the 70s, I asked Miss White, our nervy music teacher, to explain the virgin birth. I didn't get to play Mary in the Nativity activity, funnily enough. And Ben says, forgiven. FYI, gestation period for a pig is 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days.
Is that right?
You're welcome.
Very good. Okay, excellent. We're learning something
We
today.
are.
Thank you for the verdicts, and send your confessions, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. Sounds like the trolley, the drinks trolley has arrived. Always a highlight of the show because we get something to pass the time until Nigel gets here with something
Yes.
else on a Thursday. What are you offering today, Sue?
I've gone for a Portuguese Vino Verde called Chin Chin. which I thought
Oh,
was very
lovely.
nice.
I had a Vino Verde the other day, and it was surprisingly pleasant.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought.
nice.
Well
Tasty.
done, I thought.
Well done, to our
Vino Verde,
Portuguese
boys and
friends.
girls.
Well done.
Yeah.
Portugal.
It's almost like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, very good. So I'll have a small glass. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Little sharpener before Nigel gets here. Okay, so today's confession comes from Hugo. All right, Hugo. Hi, Sam. Are you taking
Already,
against him
already.
Yeah, Matt doesn't like him.
Hi, Simon, and afternoon drinking friends.
Oh, hello.
This confession goes back to a time when the lottery numbers were shown on Saturday night on television. Probably around 1995, as they were not yet on the lottery website. I believe you were part of this TV rigmarole a few years later, Father Simon, and I'm sure that if you had been involved in this story, everything would have been fine. But you weren't, so it wasn't.
Ah.
Oh.
This sort of the implication here from Hugo is that this is my fault. But anyway, I'm Hugo, and my wife, Lottie, used to sit in front of the Matt,
What? Sorry.
It's just a name. Also, not real names. They've all been made up.
you've made them up, of course.
No,
Yeah, sorry.
Hugo has
eye
made his
roll.
name up,
Oh,
and
right.
Lottie has
Okay.
made her name up.
Yeah.
I'm Hugo. My wife, Lottie, used to sit in front of the television to excitedly check her numbers every Saturday night, and was always disappointed to find out when she hadn't won, which was every week. On this particular night, we were out, so we missed the live number call on television. But later in the evening, we turned on the TV and switched on to CFAX. For Sister Holly and similar, this was a teletext service you could select page by page so you could read the information. I think the news headlines was 101.
Yeah.
And sport was 302.
302, yeah.
And
With
you
the
can get
results.
holidays.
Could you? What
You can
number
get
was
holidays
that?
on CFAX. I don't remember
okay.
the number, but I know you can get holidays on there.
I mean, those were the days.
Yeah.
Dial-a-disc. So different technology.
Different.
So we were using CFAX to check up on the lottery numbers, but I thought this week I'll change things and add a little excitement to make her a happy woman on this Saturday night. So what I did was I stood behind her so I could see the screen and her lottery ticket in her hand at the same time, and said that I would call out the numbers so she could keep her eyes on the ticket. What I did, though, obviously, was I called out the numbers from her lottery ticket in her hand and not from the television screen. And it wasn't long before she was convinced that all her numbers were jackpot winning numbers. Well, you know that Gemma Atkinson moment
Oh, yes.
when she rings on a Friday after 5 to say, "You've won all that money or make me a winner." And then the recipient of the call weeps, goes crazy, and says their life is transformed. Well, it was like that, but much more so. Much more. For about 5 minutes of glory, screams and hugs, she went absolutely crazy, saying she couldn't believe it and how generous she was going to be to friends and family and charities and the homeless and all the needy of the world. We would move house, get 3 cars, go on a cruise and live sophisticated lives. "Oh, Hugo," she said, "isn't this such a wonderful day?" At this point, I realized that this was only going to get worse. So I said,
surprise.
Lottie, maybe not. And I had to explain what I had done before she started making phone calls to the lottery people to claim her cash. It did not go down well.
Ah, right.
I thought a murder was going to happen and thought that I was going to be the victim. I have never seen her so mad. You know those cartoons where furious people have steam coming out of their ears? Well, it was that. And as I recall, there was actual steam coming from her actual ears, alongside spittle from her mouth, tears from her eyes, and a runny nose. So I definitely need to ask forgiveness also, by the way, from her, from my brother, my sister, and their children who were with me on the night and who also believed me, thinking that their lives were about to change forever, because obviously they would be the recipients of all this generosity from Lottie, because she's just won a fortune. So, of course, you would say, nephew, niece,
Yes.
here's 100 quid or something like that. Not that that's very generous if you just won a few.
£100, I was
100
going to
quid.
say.
100 quid, is that it?
Disappointing.
Is that it?
It's like a gift token. Thanks very much. Anyway, forgiveness from them, and because they were with me on the night and who also believed me, thinking their lives would change too before I finally told them. In truth, they were a little amused at the time. I think the word little there is working quite hard.
Really
but my
hard.
wife most definitely was not. My wife has actually never forgiven me for this wind-up, but I would like her to now. As the good book says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Just remember that, dear Lottie, before you huff and puff. Forgive and forget. Let's not reach the day of judgment with this small matter unforgiven.
Oh.
Lots of love, Hugo, not my real name. There you go. So you can't take against him for his name.
No.
You know, you can take against him
Yep.
for everything else.
Very daring.
It's not Hugo and it's not Lottie, but it'll do for the moment.
Oh, Hugo.
But I mean, it's just... I think it's unforgivable. Myself, what do you say, Suze?
Well, yeah, a wind-up. Like, what did you think was going to happen, Hugo? It's just not even fun. She spent all of that money in her head in like the 30 seconds. Wouldn't anyone do the same? I don't understand what you got out of it other than just being just stupid. Stupid is what you are, and for that reason, I don't forgive you.
I wonder if Gemma Atkinson's ever rung someone up and said, you... Only joking. I don't think so.
No.
Brother Matthew.
I mean, is it really that bad? I'm going to forgive because, you know, I mean, I can see myself doing that and it being very amusing. And then, you know, and then everyone realises it's just a joke and we can all laugh it off.
So you think Mrs. Williams
she'd
would
absolutely...
find that hilarious?
I don't think she would.
I find it very funny. And I think they all did. They all look back on it now, don't they, and laugh.
No, she doesn't.
Lottie, perhaps she doesn't look back on it and laugh. Maybe she will do now, though. She'll do it now. I think Lottie's at home listening to this going, do you know what? Actually, I've had this all wrong. Hugo, not your real name. And I think it's all very funny now. So, yeah, for all those reasons, live and let live, forgive and forget, and what it says in the Bible, I'm going to forgive.
That's right. Okay, well argued.
Yeah.
61054, first word is Simon. Just before the news, we had a confession from Hugo, who devised a trick to let his wife think that she'd won the National Lottery millions. And Lottie, the wife, has never actually forgiven him. But have you? That's the people's verdict. Here we go.
Jerry in Edinburgh says, I could never forgive Hugo, and I am absolutely staggered that he's still married. But Dwayne says Hugo is absolutely forgiven. Lottie should have double-checked. You wouldn't just start screaming until you'd triple-checked it yourself. You would literally pin it up to the screen and check every number. But Alison in Ammanford in Wales says, Father Simon, not forgiven. How dare he use the name Lottie? My daughter was born in 1994, the year the lottery started, and I called her Lottie.
I don't think he's really can be judged on that basis,
No.
Alison. But we appreciate all the verdicts that come in. Thank you very much. And if you have a confession inspired by today, then we'd love to hear about it. Confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk.